President Benton, today I have the distinct privilege and honor of introducing two men, father and son, the co-founders of Selby Venture Partners, through which they have empowered and equipped entrepreneurs and visionaries to produce technologies and services that drive the information age. Mr. Robert C. Marshall, a graduate of the Graziadio School of 1976, is one of the most accomplished and respected senior executives in the Silicon Valley. He has founded multiple leading technology companies over the last 40 years, proving over and over his uncanny knack for choosing the diamond out of the rough, be it entrepreneur or startup enterprise. Mr. James C. Marshall, a graduate of the class of 1993 from our full-time MBA, nurtured more than 75 early-stage emerging growth technology companies during his tenure at Silicon Valley Bank. Today, he specializes in the investment of software and consumer services. Father and son are active on numerous corporate boards, and Mr. James Marshall also serves the broader industry through the Silicon Valley chapter of the Association for Corporate Growth. President Benton, it is truly a privilege to honor both Mr. Robert C. Marshall and Mr. James R. Marshall as the April 2007 recipients of the Pepperdine University Distinguished Alumnus Award.
Thank you all. I wanted to give you a little background on what I did before I got my MBA from Pepperdine University. I had to prepare myself for my MBA, and so I did some things. I started out by delivering newspapers in Chicago at 5 o'clock in the morning. I worked a full night shift in a factory while attending my senior high school year. I drove a truck for a lumber yard. I delivered furnaces in Chicago's tenement basements. I loaded freight onto trucks in Dallas, Texas. I've spent the night in the Dallas City Jail. Oh, and my favorite, I picked cotton in East Texas for $1 a sack. And I got to tell you, a sack is a lot of cotton. I set pins in a bowling alley in Los Angeles. I did janitorial work at a YMCA in Seattle. I served 2 years in the Army with combat duty in Korea. I married my wife, Serene. And while I'm on that subject, I have to tell you, life is much easier if you pick the right partner. Serene and I just recently celebrated our 50th wedding anniversary. So. I earned a Bachelor of Science degree in electrical engineering, and I was working nights at the San Francisco airport loading freight while I did it. I worked at the Lawrence Radiation Lab in Livermore, helping blow up atom bombs in Nevada. I had 3 wonderful children. I co-founded a successful technology company in Silicon Valley. And then I decided I needed an MBA. The best thing I got out of the MBA was in the communication workshop and the behavioral trimester. This is the art of dealing with people, working with and through other people. And the lessons I learned there served me well through my career. I had a wonderful professor, Dr. Earl Enns. He was a fine gentleman and a wonderful teacher. And again, I think the skills I learned there were essential in my coming years. Now, you graduates are going to get a lot of advice, I'm sure. I have 3 points for you. 1, hone your people skills. Whatever career you choose, you're going to work with and through people. And to the degree you can be successful in dealing with people, you will be successful. Number 2, take advantage of the opportunities this wonderful country we live in offers. Aim high, work hard, anything's possible. I sincerely believe my story would not be possible in any other country. And number 3, as you live your life, stay close to your family. Even though you're separated by hundreds of thousands of miles, stay close. Draw strength from them when they need it, and use their strength when you need it. Remember, families are forever. Cherish your relationships, stay close. My last point is I want to talk about Selby Venture Partners, the venture capital fund that my son and I run. When people look at a father-son run business, the first impression is, well, the father built a business and the son got a free ride. That's certainly not the case with our venture fund. Jim had a fine career going at the bank. I convinced him to leave and help me start up the fund, and the fact is his contributions in creating the fund and making it successful are much more than mine. And so here's Jim to give his side of the story now.
That was nice. Well, one thing I've learned today is that my father can't keep a job. Didn't know about all that. But thank you all very much. It's a privilege to be here, and congratulations, class of 2007. My upbringing was a little different than my father's. While he was delivering newspapers in the frigid Chicago mornings, and his family was struggling to get warm meals on the table each night, I was growing up in California in a much different environment and facing different challenges. Things like what sports to play, where to go to high school and college, what to major in, who to date and eventually marry. I think I lucked out there. Thank you, Kim. But growing up in Silicon Valley in the 80s and 90s in a family that was entrenched in the high technology revolution that was going on then, there was never a doubt in what career path I would choose. While not knowing exactly what form or shape it would eventually become, I knew at a very young age that I was going to be involved in something entrepreneurial. I felt what was happening around me at that time was something very special, and I knew I wanted to be a part of it and make an impact in some way. Fast forward to today, we're at Selby Venture Partners. I'm fortunate to not only work every day with my father and learn from his experiences, but also to get to meet and work with some of the best and brightest young entrepreneurs every day. Many of these entrepreneurs have little experience in managing people or businesses, but they've oftentimes risked everything to articulate a vision and stake out a new course in something they passionately believe in. These are people who are making an impact every day. So I challenge all of you, graduates who are here today, as you begin the next journey in your life, try and make an impact in whatever you do. Many people often ask, what are keys to your success? What are keys to doing well in business? Well, I certainly don't have all the answers, but I'd like to pass on one thing to you that I've learned over time. That is, any business deal, transaction, any negotiation or large sale you're trying to close, or anything you think is important, really boils down to what type of relationship you have with whoever you're dealing with. Are you building a relationship of trust? Are both sides aware of the objectives and risks? And are both generally trying to get to a win-win? It's been my experience that if you're good to people, treat them well and fairly, then they usually appreciate that and reciprocate. In other words, if there's a relationship that's been established, there's usually a much higher likelihood of success. Thanks very much, and congratulations.